They have gone on with this thing, this press conference that Donald Trump gave about Charlottesville. They are it's the classic thing. And I said this yesterday, and I will say it again, just so everybody's clear about it. I think Trump bobbled the ball. He bobbled the ball, especially when he said there were good people on both sides. This rally was organized by the Nazi right. It was organized by the Nazi right, and I've been very hard on them, and you guys keep writing to me and saying, but don't they this, and they're not really right-wing, and do some of them say this, and it makes sense? Look, they're a bunch of hateful creeps. They're hateful creeps, and they are on our side. They vote for the people that we vote for. They call themselves right-winger, so we don't have to give them any credence whatsoever. We don't have to accept a single word they say, and if ever your heart responds to the hateful garbage coming out of their mouths, just walk away. Walk away. They are wrong from beginning to end. Everything. You know, they talk about Western culture. They talk about the white man building Western culture. They don't know anything about Western culture. Western culture rests on two pillars: Jesus and Socrates, a Jew and a gay guy. All the people they hate are the pillars of what built our society. You know, it's just nonsense. They're just ignorant, hateful people. And this was the mistake Trump made, just to get that out of the way. The mistake Trump made was saying there are good people on both sides. Nobody looks at a rally being held by Nazis and says, well, I don't agree with, killing all the blacks and Jews, but I don't want that statue to be taken down, so maybe I'll go to the rally. That's not the way it works. People see that and think, I don't think so. I'm not. I want to play just a couple of quotes that came out about the reactions to the Trump presser, because, the power that the press has is to create this atmosphere of hysteria where all the GOP runs for its life and all the people, are scared and all this stuff. And it creates this emotional, atmosphere, especially in the Beltway. Obviously, it doesn't in Washington, in LA, people being thrown out of their gyms and things like that, but especially in the Beltway. And that's where it really has an effect, because people are afraid to come out and say what they mean, and they're afraid to talk because they know they're going to be completely pilloried, as Trump is being pilloried now. So here are a couple of Here's the thing about Donald Trump. I don't believe Donald Trump is a racist at all. What I believe, they asked Trump about race. They asked Trump about, have things gotten better? They never asked this to Barack Obama, because things got much worse. The racial divide got much worse. But no, is that Obama's fault? Absolutely not. But if it's getting bad now, it's all Trump's fault. So Trump had this response, which was really interesting, really fascinating if you listen to it. This is cut number 5.
They've been afraid for a long time. And you can ask President Obama about that, because he'd make speeches about it. But I believe that the fact that I brought in, it will be soon, millions of jobs. You see where companies are moving back into our country. I think that's going to have a tremendous positive impact on race relations. We have companies coming back into our country. We have 2 car companies that just announced. We have Foxconn in Wisconsin just announced. We have many companies, I say, pouring back into the country. I think that's going to have a huge positive impact on race relations. You know why? It's jobs. What people want now, they want jobs. They want great jobs with good pay. And when they have that, you watch how race relations will be. And I'll tell you, we're spending a lot of money on the inner cities. We're fixing the inner cities. We're doing far more than anybody's done with respect to the inner cities. It's a priority for me, and it's very important.
That's a classic Donald Trump response. I've said this again and again. Trump's daydream for himself is that you will love him because he fixes stuff. That's how he sees himself. And he doesn't see, it's funny, some of Trump's strengths are also his weaknesses. Remember when the Marine's hat blew off and Trump chased it down? And I said that's actually a kind of a nice thing about Donald Trump, is he doesn't really picture himself as being like, the president above anybody else. If the Marine's hat blows off, he'll go and fetch the Marine's hat. But at the same time, the bad side of that is he doesn't see himself as a moral leader. He doesn't understand that sometimes these things need to be addressed in a spiritual way. He thinks, everybody will have a good job, and then they'll stop, worrying about the racism thing. And there's a lot of truth to that. But at the same time, there are these moments when something like Charlottesville happens that you need to address in a moral way. You know how one way you know that he's not a racist? Here is one of the Nazis who was down in Charlottesville talking about him and saying, I'm a violent guy, I'm a racist guy, and I have one problem with Donald Trump. Here he is.
I'm carrying a pistol. I go to the gym all the time. I'm trying to make myself more capable of violence. I'm here to spread ideas, talk, in the hopes that somebody more capable will come along and do that. Somebody like Donald Trump, who does not give his daughter to a Jew.
So Donald Trump, but like more racist.
A lot more racist than Donald Trump.
He's just guy's not racist, gives his daughter to a Jew. And by the way, that's the face of these guys. They're not making subtle points. They're racist. And so he doesn't like Trump because he's racist. All right. But yesterday, Gianno Caldwell, who is a black Republican guy, went on Fox and Friends to talk about the statue issue and should they tear down this statue and that statue. And it was this very emotional moment. And I want to play it because the guy he's one of us. He's a Republican conservative guy. And this is the way he felt after that press conference.
They're good people on both sides of this debate. We talk about keeping these statues up. People that I've talked to say this is about history. How do we move forward? How do we learn from those mistakes if we just tear everything down?
I come today with a very heavy heart. Last night I couldn't sleep at all because President Trump, our president, has literally betrayed the conscience of our country, the very moral fabric in which we've made progress when it comes to race relations in America. He's failed us. And it's very unfortunate that our president would say things like he did in that press conference yesterday when he says, well, there's, good people on the side of the Nazis. They weren't all Nazis. They weren't all white supremacists. Well, Mr. President, good people don't pile around with Nazis and white supremacists. Maybe they don't consider themselves white supremacists and Nazis, but certainly they hold those views. This has become very troubling, and for anyone to come on any network and defend what President Trump did and said at that press conference yesterday is completely lost and the potential to be morally bankrupt.
And he starts crying. We got to care about that guy, we really do. He's, like I said, he's one of us. And if he feels that way, now maybe, you can parse what Trump said and did he mean this and did he say that? But, part of being the president is leading, and part of leading is appearing and seeming to be what people need you to be in these moments of division. And I mean, nobody wants to see these Nazis go down to Charlottesville and not be rebuked, and they've got to be rebuked, and they've got to be rebuked again. And it's great to talk about the violence of Antifa. The press has been wicked. They have been evil. As I say, there's the commie scum and there's the Nazi scum and then there's the media scum. And the media has been evil in covering up the violence of this. Chuck Todd, I think it was, had some Antifa guy on. Just let him just completely romanticize and cover up the violence of this movement. But here are some people, and props to CBS News because they had these people on. I'm sure they didn't get the answers they were expecting. CBS News had these people on, and here are the people who say what I think is true about Donald Trump, that they're not looking to him for moral guidance. They're looking to him to fix stuff, and that is what Trump is selling. This is cut number 10, a really fascinating interview with Trump supporters.
How do you explain what your support is for a president, given the criticism that he's had on this race issue?
I think for myself, period. Nobody's going to tell me what to think or how to think. I'm not gullible and I'm not blind. It's my decision if I'm going to support someone or not go by what other people has to say. And to me, what I've seen and what I love, he's not going to lose my support anytime soon.
I've been a Republican before Donald Trump. I will be a Republican afterwards. I honestly don't think we will see this issue of racial divide addressed until we remove identity politics out of the political process.
I love this country. I love these people. These people like this just see so clearly, and they just are basically dealing with Trump as Trump. They're not looking to him for moral guidance. They're looking to him to fix stuff. We'll see if he can. Some of the stuff he's done so far has been really good. Some of the stuff in the way he's dealt with the legislature, not as good. But I really do. I think, as I've said all week, I think he bobbled the ball. I think we on the right have to have a care about these people. These guys, like I said, are trying to be in our house. They're trying to steal our name. They're trying to steal our designation. And the press is helping them because the press is wicked and corrupt. But we have to also stand up. We have to do the right thing. What